Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Kings NFL Divisional Playoff Prediction Show. I'm your host, Mean Gene Sports Machine. I am joined by the one, the only one, who was a little bit under the weather last week, but I think he's looking good right here on the screen here, and that is going to be the guy who covers the Carolina Panthers and the Charlotte Hornets, and that is Dustin Pfeiffer. What's up, Dustin?
Hey, what's going on, Mean Gene? I'm back, feeling good. Appreciate y'all holding it down last week. It was a very fun weekend of games. A little disappointing by my Panthers, but listen, I'm proud of my Panthers and the way they played against the Rams. I don't think anybody gave them a chance, and they had a chance in that game. So tough loss, but a nice building block for next year for the Carolina Panthers.
Yeah, I don't think anyone saw that game being as close as it was, and I damn sure didn't have it. What was it, 65
Yeah,
points?
high scoring. Yeah,
I didn't see that, so that
yeah,
was
me neither.
good effort, good fight there for the Panthers. Which Dustin, we've talked about the AFC. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, the NFC South, and how that thing is going to be up for grabs for the next couple of years. But hey, real quick though, we're expecting Jacob Meadows, and Jacob, if he gets on here, we'll go ahead and pop him in here. But look, man, we're gonna on this particular show, we're gonna recap the wild card weekend, and then of course we're gonna get into some of these coachings carousels here. Big news out of Pittsburgh, of course. Uh, who would ever thought, Dustin, we would be
yeah.
doing this with only one coach active in the AFC North?
It's
Just
pretty wild. Pretty
kind of
wild.
wild, man. No one predicted that. So we're getting into that. Also, now earlier today, because he couldn't come on tonight due to commitments, but he was able to give me some time, and that was Brian Diardo, our CBS Sports.com analyst who comes on. He's a senior writer for CBS Sports.com. I had a chance to talk with Brian earlier today, get his thoughts on the AFC North, which he covers for CBS Sports, and then we talked about Tomlin. We also we got his picks, so I have them recorded here. I have his picks, which
It's
you
busy
gotta
times for Brian right now with that division and all the news that's going on right now.
yes, busy time. So, but you're gonna love his picks because he did a flip flop right in the middle of the interview, right? So
Okay.
you know how we do
He
those
he
things
pulled a Mean
sometimes.
Gene.
He pulled a mean Gene. I was cracking up. I said, "Oh man." So, but anyway, we'll share that here. But I don't know, man. This just some of the headlines here is, of course, the wild card weekend round produced one of the most exciting starts to a postseason in
Yeah.
NFL history. So, look, there were 12 fourth quarter lead changes with four teams winning after trailing in the final 3 minutes of the fourth quarter across the six wild card games. But and then it was they said both was the most in a single postseason in NFL history. So you got those three teams, Dustin, the Bills, Bears, and Rams scored the game-winning touchdown in the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter, and the most such in a postseason all time.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable start to the weekend. You know, the Sunday night and the Monday night game didn't produce as much drama. Sorry, Gene, with your team, but those first few games, I mean, again, we talked about, and I think Schefter said it. And I just got a text from Jacob that said he's on his way. So, guys, Gene, I knew he wasn't going to miss a chance to talk about his Texans beating
Oh,
down the Steelers. So,
hello.
so he will be here. But listen, those games. I mean, the Panthers alone and the Rams had four lead changes in the fourth quarter. It was unbelievable. That Bears game. You know, we'll get into it a little bit. The Packers, what a collapse and what a comeback by the Bears. Gene, we've said it all year. The Bears have been the team of magic. They find a way to win these crazy games, and it's continued in the playoffs. So this weekend exactly lived up to what we said going into the playoffs. It was going to be unpredictable. It was going to be close games. Anybody could beat anybody. We saw that with the defending champion Eagles going down. We didn't even mention that yet. It was just a crazy first weekend, and really, if you've watched the NFL, G, and we talk about this, the division round coming up this weekend is the weekend that's known to be the best playoff weekend
Mhm.
of all.
Supposed to be, yeah.
So the fact that we had that first weekend like that should only lead to some more good football this weekend.
It should, yeah. I mean, because I like how the NFL spread these games out over the 3 days. We're not going to get that this weekend because it's all
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday. But that wild card weekend, since they went to this format here,
Mhm.
it's been great, and of course, like you say, we got into the Monday night game. We had what 2 Saturdays 3 Sundays in the Monday night game. So just great stuff. But look here, man. Let's talk more about the 34-31 Rams win over the Carolina
Mhm.
wild card game, man. Look, that game was incredible. No one predicted 65 points. It
Yeah.
was Booker. Man, what a great performance by Dustin. Just I mean, what was your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I mean, it was a coming out party for some of the Carolina Panthers, and they get down 14 nothing, and they get down 17-7, and I think you saw it on Twitter and you saw it everywhere. Everybody's going, "Oh, here we go, and 8 and 9 football teams in the playoffs. They're going to get blown out by the Rams. They
Mhm.
shouldn't be there." And then the Panthers just storm back. I mean, you got to give them a lot of credit. And honestly, Gene, we've talked about this team a lot this year since I cover them, but that's kind of the heart that they've shown all year to come back in some of these games and beat some of these good playoff teams. So. They had already beat the Rams once. They beat the Packers. They beat some of these other teams. So they've shown they can compete. And you're right, Jalen Coker, an undrafted guy, stepping up 9 catches, 134 yards, and a
Undrafted.
touchdown. Unbelievable. And Bryce, his numbers weren't spectacular, but I thought Bryce made some unbelievable throws in that game, including the go ahead touchdown to Coker. But, in the end, Matt Stafford, I didn't like the way the Panthers played that last drive. Gene, I know you were watching that game. They kind of played
Mhm,
left the
mhm,
middle open too much and let Stafford
mhm.
go down the field. But Stafford's a Hall of Famer, and that's the reason that I think both of us have them going to the Super Bowl is what he did. And it was an unbelievable game. And one thing we didn't mention, Gene, because I wasn't on the show, but one big thing for the Panthers as well was they brought Cam Newton back to the team. Now he's been pretty
Yeah, I
much
saw
away
that.
from the team for a long time since he's
Saw
left.
that.
They were trying to mend fences a little bit, and the new owner finally called him and said, "Hey, we want you back here." And that was one of the biggest moments, honestly,
It
in a
was.
long time for the Panthers to bring a legend like that back. So it just all was a great is no moral victories in the playoffs, but for a team who's been so down the last 6 years to have a home playoff game, that place was as loud as any place I heard all weekend. To have Cam back to compete with a team that close who could go to the Super Bowl, I think it was a win-win for the Panthers. Obviously, you want to advance, but I think they've got a lot of momentum going into this offseason.
I think they do, Dustin. And man, just to watch Bryce Young becoming a mature
Yeah,
quarterback now and being so poised. Now, I tell you what, this guy's future, we've seen quarterbacks get off to a rough start. Hello, Peyton Manning, who led the
yeah,
NFL in interceptions his rookie year
yeah,
and struggled until he got to a point. So, no, I'm seeing that in Bryce Young. I'm seeing a quarterback that might have a bright future coming up. But yeah, it was good to see Cam Newton pounding the drum there, getting things
yeah,
ready there, which made that
yeah.
game look. The crowd was in it. I mean, look, it was a winnable game there.
It
But look,
was.
like you also mentioned, wow. Um, I mean, just give it up for Sean McVay and the
Yeah,
Rams, man. They just have a stellar crew there. Matthew Stafford, man. Oh my goodness, this guy. Give him a 2 minute game in the fourth quarter.
yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
this guy do some incredible things over the years, and just to think that this guy used to throw football passes to Calvin Johnson, who's in the Hall of Fame. It's
Well, I mean, you talk about Calvin Johnson, and you just look at the weapons he's got now. I mean, with
woo,
Devontae Adams and Puka
yes,
Nakua.
Puka,
I mean, I know
yes,
we've talked a lot about the receivers, but watching Puka Nakua play, like if he's not the best receiver in the league, he's right there in the top two or so. The guy
yeah.
is just unbelievable. And honestly, he probably makes the biggest play of the game, Gene, playing defense when he knocked the interception out of one of the Panthers defenders when the Panthers were up by 4. So the guy just impacted the game so many ways. Stafford got his finger banged up on a helmet and still was able to come back
Mhm.
and lead the game winning drive. And that is why when you look at these quarterbacks in the playoffs and we talk about a Sam Darnold in that division and we talk about a Brock Purdy and we're not really sure what we're going to get, you know what you're going to get from Matthew Stafford, and that's why the Rams have
Yeah,
to be a contender
they
going
don't.
forward.
Yeah, they're amazing, amazing team. So, all right, the other game there, the Green Bay Packers
Ugh,
and the Chicago Bears. I tell you what, look, I have to admit, I thought the Packers had that game. I just thought they controlled that game. This is why you have to watch all 60 minutes of an NFL game in the playoffs. And
21
then
to
this
3 at halftime.
this was a divisional game. We're gonna go ahead and try to get Jacob up in here before we get going
Well,
here.
look
That
who it
there, yeah,
is.
well,
What is up, everybody?
what
Hold
Jacob,
on, let
look
me
at
see
here. Now,
what
I
what time is it?
understand the party that went down Monday night with all Texans fans, but damn, Jacob, it's Thursday, man.
Yeah,
You
well, we
still
got to have some
partying?
type of penalty here. What's going on? Yeah.
You can take a game from my regular season record, so I'll still stay on top. But
Here
you
we go.
go a little closer.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
right,
No, I had
folks.
my annual sales summit for work, and I did fall asleep on a nap that was unexpected. So
Just tell the world all your business, okay? You know it. And this is going to be a short that you fell asleep, right? So
Yes, it is. It is. It is.
All right, Jacob, welcome to the show, man. And look, let's just stop everything that me and Dustin was talking about and congratulate. We're going to get into the Texans and the Steelers game, but we're sort of recapping. First of all, congratulations on a huge win over the Pittsburgh Steelers Monday night. Texans advancing to the divisional rounds.
Yeah, 2 defensive touchdowns is going to be hard to sustain, but they've been doing it all year. So I mean, it was a good game. Offense got moving real slow, real quick. But I mean, good teams find ways to win. So
yeah, I mean, I want to ask you. You're going to obviously take a playoff win on the road, but you fumble. What is it? 5 times? I mean, like
CJ looked bad, man.
Yeah, I mean, do you come away from that game feeling good, or do you come away from that game going, God, that can't continue? Like, I know it's a little bit of both because the defense obviously is championship caliber, but if that offense don't get going against some of these better teams, it could be some problems.
Yeah, no, I think the general consensus should be a little bit of like cautious optimism, right?
Yeah.
Cautiously optimistic. That was hard to get out. I don't know. Was it a blip? Right? Like, because CJ's that was a really bad game, and it was a series of very specific issues that he doesn't typically have. Right? Like, he's not coughing up the ball like that.
Right.
Like, it was just weird, like little flail motion. He was getting hit right at the perfect time. So I think it might be a one-off, right? I think CJ probably comes back, plays a whole hell of a lot better this week. I'm hopeful, right?
Well, look.
Now on the flip side, Gene, let me ask you. Yeah, I'm narrating this conversation between the Texans fan and the Steelers fan here. So let me flip to the other side here, Gene. I'm going to ask the same question I asked Jacob. How do you force 5 fumbles and lose a game by 24 points?
I don't even look. You're gonna catch me and Gene like lost for words here because it don't make sense.
It doesn't
make sense, and you still lose by that wide of a margin. It doesn't make sense. It means to me that I don't know. The Pittsburgh Steelers were not engaged. They thought, well, okay, we got a good kicker here. It's still cold. We see these guys over here rubbing their shoulders and everything, but they didn't take the game serious. They took these guys for granted. And look, there's no way you lose a game with 5 turnovers. You don't have 5 turnover games in the NFL, and especially in a playoff game in your stadium. No, there was no sense of urgency on the Pittsburgh Steelers side. That's the only thing I.
And I got to be honest, and Gene, I continue to get your thoughts on this. Like, I know you're not an Aaron Rodgers fan, and I know he didn't play a great game. He obviously threw that pick 6. But I'll be honest with you, the first 3 quarters of that game, I don't think his team helped him out any. I think DK had a ton of drops. I think some other receivers dropped some good passes that he threw. So I know, the quarterback and the coach are going to get it. Obviously, we'll talk about Tomlin. But, I thought the first 3 quarters, Aaron Rodgers made some throws, and DK, you come off a 2-game suspension and you play like that. I mean, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah, sometimes I think DK and AJ Brown are just like twin brothers or something.
Yeah,
maybe the same because I've just never seen 2 players that are just divas. I mean, you give AJ Brown the money he wanted, and you yelling at a coach on the sidelines. Really, we're talking about Philly here in a little bit. And why they out of the playoffs. Same reason why the Steelers are out of the playoffs. The Steelers, they get rid of George Pickens. They make room for this guy. I never seen them give a wide receiver that kind of money in Steelers history. And this guy is like, really? This is what you get? So, no. And Aaron Rodgers had a right to be pissed off and upset. And yeah, I mean, I applaud the guy for coming to Pittsburgh. I'm never going to be an Aaron Rodgers fan no matter what he does. But I do applaud him for coming to Pittsburgh
And
and
for the most
wanting to
part, he
win.
handled stuff the right way.
He did. He
Him and
did.
Tomlin
He
seem to
did.
have a great relationship. So
Yeah.
the one thing I will
Respect.
say is Gene, and I've said this. I know it's been about the quarterback the last few years after Roethlisberger not having one. But the other thing that always sticks with me about Pittsburgh Steelers, and I always think about Jerome Bettis in my head and some of these other guys, is the ground and pound run, the run game where you pound it on the ground. And I'm looking at Jalen Warren or 12 carries for 43 yards, Gainwell 20 yards. You don't have a run game, and that's just not Pittsburgh
No,
Steelers football.
it's not. And I don't think they expected what they got from Gainwell this year because man,
Yeah,
he ended up
it was a
stealing
bright
the
spot.
show
Yeah, yeah,
from Warren, which
yeah,
you could think that you could use. We know what Gainwell did for Philly, but man, he was the better running back if you ask me for Pittsburgh
yeah.
this year, which uh which was incredible. Jacob, earlier on we mentioned I did an interview with Brian Diardo. He couldn't come on tonight with us, so we got some sound bites from him, including a video on some
Okay.
of his picks. So and of course, as we get into once we wrap up these wild card games, we get into the he has some very interesting opinions on Harbaugh and the AFC North, which he covers, and Mike Tomlin's. But yeah, so that game. Now look, we were talking, Jacob, when you came on. We were actually talking about the Rams. No, we were talking about your favorite team, the Packers and the Bears, right?
Yeah.
Oh
Who
yeah.
look, you know, I tell you what. So we I told Dustin that I thought the Packers were going to win, but I forgot that the Bears like that style of football. How many come from behind victories have the Bears had this year under Ben
Yeah.
Johnson? So,
Yeah.
what a great win for the Chicago Bears and their fans.
Yeah, that was a good one. And I saw a meme earlier that made me laugh. It was Ben Johnson that said, he's got a devil and an angel on each shoulder, and each one is Dan Campbell telling him to go for it on every fourth down. And
Yeah.
I love it. Ben Johnson's fun, dude. And the Bears are fun. It was cool seeing Roman Dunze back, right? Like that did see it.
Mm-hmm.
Caleb Williams needs Rome. Like that, Caleb Williams plays better when Rome is on the field. So I don't know. It's hard for me. It's hard for me to say that the Bears look like they're going to go all the way. I think they're on the cusp. I don't think that they're going to like make that major push, right? But the Bears are very good, and they're a team you don't want to play because they play better in the fourth quarter than any team in the NFL this year.
Hey, look.
Yeah. I mean, listen. I was just going to say he didn't need Rome the other night. All he needed was Colston Loveland. I mean, 8 catches for 137 and a touchdown. That's a coming out party for that guy. But I just Chicago Bears fans are probably gonna try to come track me down and beat me down. But first of all, Ben Johnson, everything you said is right. I love his energy, the whole F the Packers thing, everybody, the handshakes. Like that's your rival. Stand on your business. You knocked them out of the playoffs. How many years have the Packers talked about owning the Bears when Aaron Rodgers were there?
Mm-hmm,
you take them down. Like I have no issue with what he's doing. It's your rival. You're gonna talk trash to them. So I love that. I'm gonna say it again. This type of comeback football, they've only got to do it for 2 more games to get to the Super Bowl, but it's going to catch up to them when they play a better football team. The Packers, we know going into that game was beat up, and I didn't give them any chance to win that game. I wasn't on the show last week, so I didn't get to hear your thoughts. But the way they were beat up, you got to give Jordan Love credit. He came out and balled out. But when they play a team like the Rams this Sunday, or if they somehow advance and they get to a better team, this getting behind eventually is going to catch up with them.
I agree. I agree, and I think it's going to catch up with the Broncos too, a team we're going to talk about a little bit later in this show. So, but yeah, great stuff. But look, guys, Jacob, we talked about 65 points between the Panthers and the Rams, 58 points between the Packers and the Bears.
Give my Panthers some love, Jacob. Give my Panthers some love.
So I thought the Rams were going to lose that game the whole time because I know we all took Rams, but watching that game, I was like, the Rams are going to F this up.
I did too.
The Panthers look better. The Panthers are the better team, and it was nuts the way that it ended up wrapping up. I did feel for you at the end of it all.
Yeah.
Like Bryce Young's the Ram killer until Matt Stafford retires, and it won't matter because they'll just beat him all the time anyways. But like the Panthers they look like the better team. It made me worry more about the Rams than it made me feel good about the Panthers. That is the
Oh,
Rams moved on, but I no longer. It's like every other week. It's harder to think that the Rams are the best team in the NFL. Still, I know that they're healthy and they won, but
yeah.
I'm worried about the
Speaking
Rams.
of speaking of winning, okay, because you did keep our tally last week of the teams we picked. Now I went 5-1. I know for a
I went
fact I
5-1.
I
I
also
know
went
for a
5-1.
fact.
I missed the
So
So
all three of us were 5. Well, the only game I
so
missed was the Eagles game.
Jags.
same here, same here, same
Okay.
here. That's the only game I missed. So look, all right. So look, hey, we
So
got to let our
Jacob,
listeners
you
know.
picked the Jaguars to win after talking trash about them all year, huh?
I did. Yeah,
Okay.
I genuinely thought they were. If the Trevor that we've seen, 13 weeks out of this season would have shown up instead of the Trevor from the last 3 years, they would have won that game. But Trevor Lawrence played awful. And
Well,
it was a culmination of drops by people like Parker Washington, who's been super consistent.
experienced teams, man, show up
Experienced
sometime.
team won. I'm worried about the Bills, though.
Yeah, you better be.
Yeah, we're gonna talk
You
about it.
better
They're
be.
banged up.
So
Yeah.
we also, how about that? Sports Kings 15-3 to start the playoffs. I mean,
That's
this is
solid.
why we talk football, because we know what the hell we're talking about. We got to brag, guys. We got to toot our own horns here. All right, so let's just kind of move quickly through. So we talked about Bills and Jaguars. The game that we lost, or at least Jacob, you didn't lose this game, so you picked the 49ers, right?
Yeah, I did. I did pick the 49ers.
Okay.
I felt pretty strongly that the 49ers were going to do well there. The Eagles are not good. They fired their offensive coordinator. Good for them. The Eagles can return to somewhat. They can return to prominence. They can bring in a guy like Mike McDaniel, who will take an release today. Who will take an OC job. You can't get a head coach job. Bring in somebody who knows what the hell they're doing.
So are we really gonna let's take a minute on this? Are we really going to put it all on this offensive coordinator, or are we going to put this on Sirianni some? Are we going to put this on Jalen Hurts some? Because this is the 5th different offensive coordinator they've had in like the last 5 years. I know a couple got hired to be head coaches, a couple got let go, and yes, they won the Super Bowl last year. But how many times, like, when is the head coach going to get some blame? When is the quarterback going to get some blame for how this offense is playing?
The hell are you going to blame on Sirianni? The Eagles have seen more success lately than, I can't say ever before.
He's an offensive-minded coach, and they had one of the worst offenses in the NFL this year.
Yeah,
well, I tell you what, that wasn't all on Sirianni though, because we just talked about.
So we're just going to give this guy a pass.
No, look here. I mean, what are you supposed to do if you're the Eagles? You had one coach that took you to the Super Bowl. Doug Peterson won the Super Bowl because he couldn't necessarily make it work with. He didn't want to start Jalen Hurts, so they fired him. So now you got Sirianni, who gets you to the Super Bowl. He wins. I mean, you just can't just go changing out coaches.
I'm not saying he should. I'm not saying he should be fired. He won the Super Bowl. He's their head coach. I'm just saying it's real easy to keep scapegoating the offensive coordinator every single season.
Oh, I got you on that.
Because let's not forget, until they got hot last year to win the Super Bowl, he was pretty much about to be run out of Philadelphia.
Oh yeah, he was.
This isn't just a one-time thing that this popped up and the offense hadn't been good.
It's the drop off. It's drop off from Kellen Moore's OC. Like, it's a night and day. You put one over the other, and this guy he had no idea how to use this offense.
Who picked him?
Oh, definitely Howie Roseman. You can't blame my boy.
Oh my God!
Look. I'm gonna say that I'm gonna blame the players who, Saquon wasn't the same. You can blame it on the OC, maybe.
They have the most expensive offense in the NFL.
They do. Yeah. They really do.
Like, 3 other starters on the O-line hurt all year, right?
Oh my God. Who's not hurt?
The Texans get it done. Maybe the Eagles just suck, but you can't put it all on Nick Sirianni.
Well, he's the head coach, so they're gonna take the blame. But look, Dustin, Saquon was half of himself last year. You got Mr. AJ Brown, who you can't never please. I think that sort of impacts Devontae Smith to a certain degree. You got a defense players who like to spit on people and all this, just crazy, no control. Now that falls back on the head coach because he lost control of that team. So yeah. Hopefully they make changes, but no, the 49ers went in there. And this is what it was, guys. You got a team that just didn't – same thing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. No sense of urgency. They were not together. You're not having these type of blow-ups in the middle of a damn playoff game like what you saw. You saw a 49ers team that came in there as a team with all the injuries that they've had. They come in there and they handle business.
Yeah, listen, I'll turn my attention away from Nick Sirianni for a second, and what you just said, I'll put myself on camera. AJ Brown, what you did on Sunday has to be one of the most pathetic performances I've seen in NFL playoff history. You're yelling at your coach, you're yelling for the ball, but every time they throw you the ball, you're dropping the football. So listen, I will say, and I've talked to Eagles fans, like there is no way in hell this guy's back in Philadelphia next year.
No
There's no
way.
way.
There's no way.
And I'm just and I know you're a good receiver when you want to be, but there's nothing more that drives me crazy. A guy that goes out there and talks this much trash and causes this much tension on the sideline and then doesn't produce. So I don't know what to say to you, but that to me, that was one of the most pathetic performances I've seen in a long, long time from somebody on a football field
And it cost
with
them,
the way they're
cost
running
them a
their
game.
mouth.
Yeah. And it cost them a game. So, all right, guys, let's move on here. So we've covered.
I didn't know we had this many guys on this show who just thought Nick Sirianni was the best coach in NFL history.
I never said that. Now those words never came out of my
I'm
mouth.
just saying that's what y'all make it sound
What I'm
like.
saying is that Philly. Look, I mean, you keep Sirianni. He's not going anywhere.
He's
Okay,
not going
now-
anywhere. But if his offense goes out there and sucks next year with the new offensive coordinator,
Fire him.
how many times have we talked about these Philly fans? I don't care when you won a Super Bowl. That ain't going to last long if you go out there and do what you did this year.
Well,
Okay.
when people start TPing and egging Sirianni's house, then we can worry about Sirianni. But everybody knew the OC was bad. That's why they did it to him all year.
Yeah. So all right. Okay. Fair enough. All right, guys.
Yeah, let's move. I'm fired up about this.
Yeah, let's move on here because I do want to get in some of these sound bites we got from Brian Diardo from CBSSports.com this week. Brian covers the AFC North, and which includes the Pittsburgh Steelers, the Bengals, the Ravens, and the Browns. So, Jacob, if I ask you how many active head coaches are in the AFC North right now, what would your answer be?
Wait, how many active head coaches there are?
Active coaches. Yeah.
Oh, because of the firing situation. Oh. None.
Come on, Jacob. I know you just woke up. I know we just
I helped
woke
him
you-
out. I helped him
Yeah,
out.
you helped him out. Okay. So Dustin help you out with that. So who's the only head coach right now?
Yeah, who is
in
it?
the
Can you
AFC
name
North?
it? I'm not going to give you the name.
Who's the only active? It's going to be Kyle Shanahan.
No, in the AFC
In
North.
the AFC North.
I'm not helping you on this one.
Okay, let me help
Who
you out a
is
little
it?
bit. Let me, okay, Jacob.
Help
let
him
me
out,
help
Gene.
you out a little bit. Mike Tomlin resigned, stepped down.
Yeah.
John Harbaugh was fired. Kevin
Stefanski.
Stefanski was fired. So
Who's
that
that
leaves
leave?
who?
Oh, Zach Taylor.
There
What a
you go.
guy. Look at
There
him
you
wearing
go.
the crown.
Wait a minute. You know what, Jacob? I know that was difficult, but the fact that we got an answer out of you deserves a drum roll.
Just got to get them gears turning a little bit.
Are we sure Jacob was asleep? Are we sure he
I
wasn't
don't know
having a few drinks the way he's talking about Nick Sirianni and can't name coaches in the
Yeah.
NFL?
because
Hey, I named him. I got the answer right. Just took me a second to get there.
because
Okay.
Jacob,
He
we
named
live in
Kyle
Texas.
Shanahan in the AFC North, Gene.
Jacob, we live
You
in
never
Texas,
know
so
what's
they
going
have they have not legalized marijuana yet in Texas, Jacob. I don't.
Yeah,
Are you
sure.
in Texas right now? Because I see your jerseys. I think you are.
I am in Texas right now.
All right. So anyway, look, guys. So I had a chance to talk with Brian Diardo about the Ravens, and he gave his kind of opinion. So we got like 4 different sound bites, and we're going to play them throughout the show. But let's go ahead and go with this one right here now.
Okay.
The expectations of the Ravens and the Steelers, was kind of a foreshadowing to what could happen if neither of their seasons went as planned. Obviously, the Ravens really didn't go as planned. They had Super Bowl aspirations and then didn't even make the playoffs. And then obviously the Steelers, I think the thought was that this might be a year early. I think we all kind of thought that Mike Tomlin would at least coach out his current contract. But I think, and we could get, I think, more into it later. But yeah, that's obviously kind of a surprise to everybody, even though it ended with another non-playoff win. And then obviously Cleveland, I mean, we don't have enough time, or we probably have no desire to get into all of their issues. So
I know.
them firing Stefanski is not terribly surprising given how things have been going there for a long time.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. We probably saw the writing on the wall there in Cleveland. But I got to say, with John Harbaugh with the Baltimore Ravens, I thought maybe John Harbaugh was going to be canned back in what was it, maybe 2018, right when Lamar was getting drafted. I thought there was talk about that. And then Lamar comes in. I really think he sort of saves his job, so to speak. But when you look at the last couple of playoff rounds, just not being able to get over the hump, changing their offense, it seems like going away from what they normally do. You think that just ultimately got them, caved them in?
Yeah, I do. I mean, Steve Buscemi basically said it yesterday, and it was kind of like a mafioso mob moment. He's got like the half buttoned up shirt, and
I know.
he's sipping a water. It was very different than Art Rooney's press conference. I think we both can agree on that. But they asked him mid sip of his water, like it was like a movie scene. Like if Tyler Luke makes that kick, how much longer is he the coach? And he just went a week.
Yeah,
Guys, that was crazy. That I don't know if Steve Bisciotti was joking around or what have you. We know that kick that Tyler Luke missed in that game didn't have anything to do with the firing. But what are your thoughts on that? We'll start with you, Dustin.
yeah. Listen, I don't. When we're talking about Harbaugh and Tomlin, I mean, just because they're both right there together, like I don't think either one of them is surprising. I think Tomlin was a little more surprising than Harbaugh. I think we kind of saw the writing on the wall there, not just because of how they ended the season, but I think the biggest takeaway is I just don't think the relationship between Lamar Jackson and Harbaugh it's there. And when you have a
I agree.
franchise quarterback who's won MVPs like that, that's probably who's gonna win out regardless of how long you've been there as a head coach. And again, the Tomlin and Harbaugh situation is kind of the same thing. They've been there forever, and it's almost just kind of like time to do something new. So again, not surprised by either one of them. We have to clarify, and I'm sure Brian did when he talked to you. It's two different situations, though.
Oh, yeah.
Tomlin said, "I'm walking away," and
Right.
Harbaugh got fired. So there's two different situations you got to talk about. So, we'll get into Harbaugh. He obviously already has a job, which is crazy. It went that quick. But I think again, neither one of those situations were really surprising. And I think we had talked about this for weeks to come. Depending on how these Ravens and Steelers seasons ended, that there was a good chance that both of these
Right. Yeah,
long-tenured
we
coaches
did.
would be out of there, and that's what happened.
Jacob, what your thoughts?
Yeah, it turns out it didn't matter how they ended. All right. Well, it does, but they both ended the same way ultimately in the end. But how much of this do you think was Tomlin stepping down, and how much of it was you're going to step down? Right? Like he had fallen out of favor. We had kind of seen the writing on the wall for Tomlin potentially. So how much of this was, he's doing the honorable thing, right? I just can't coach at the same level anymore. I'm going to walk away. Versus him being told by the Steelers, like, "Hey, it's time to hang it up."
I wouldn't, Gene. You probably know because this is your team, so jump in here as well. But everything that I've read and heard was that everybody was actually pretty caught off guard by Tomlin saying that he was going to step down, and to the fact that the players in the locker room were basically crying when he had the meeting to say, "Hey, I'm leaving out of here." So it sounds to me like it was actually pretty surprising. And the other thing that I heard, Gene, and jumping here, is it sounded like Tomlin maybe was just kind of tired of how he was kind of starting to get treated in Pittsburgh. Like, I know I haven't won a playoff game in a while, but like I've been here 19 years. I've won a Super Bowl. The booze on the field. Like, I think he was kind of just saying, like, I don't really need to put up with this. I can take a step back, maybe take a year off from coaching. That's what it sounds like he's going to do, and then get back in this thing. So from what I've heard, it's pretty surprising on all fronts from the front office and the players that they really weren't expecting him to say, "Hey, I'm walking away."
Yeah, I'm going to hold my thoughts because me and Brian did talk about that. So let's go
Okay.
ahead. Let's go ahead and see what he had to say.
We want to keep this, I think, to 15 minutes. So do something if I go too far. But
Okay.
I mean, I've been associated, at least personally for me, with the Steelers for over 30 years. and I'm 40, and so Chuck Noll was still coaching when I was young, but I have no remembrance of Chuck Noll as the coach.
Mhm.
So I remember when Cowher left, I was in an airport about to cover OSU Florida in a national championship game as a junior in college when that went down. And then when Tomlin went down, I had a similar feeling, which was kind of melancholy, like just, yeah, you don't know how to feel because you've had two head coaches in this entire time. It's kind of insane. I don't know if it was the right time. Obviously he thought it was the right time. I think for Tomlin, I believe that it was his choice. I don't think there was any twisting or pushing at all from Art Rooney for this to happen. However, I do think that there was that option on his contract for 27 that was floating around. And I think for
Right.
Tomlin, I don't think he wanted Gene to get to that point, right? I think for
Right.
him, like Cowher
Mhm.
and like Noel,
No.
I think it was important for him to leave on his own terms. And we all remember, I think Noel was kind of forced out a little bit. Cowher, it was a family issue with health with his wife and things that kind of forced him.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
if she was sick yet, but either way, it was family issues that kind of led to him leaving, right?
I remember.
Yeah, his family had already moved out of Pittsburgh. He was coaching there alone. So yeah, it was all family for Cowher. I think for Tomlin, I do think that apparently he did say to Rooney that he wants to spend more time with his family. He's not going to coach this season or doesn't plan to coach this season. He may not even broadcast. He might just take the whole year off to himself.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah.
That's it.
Real quick,
Yeah. So
before you jump in there, Gene, big point to point out there is that with him walking away like this, what Brian just said, Pittsburgh retains his coaching rights. So if he comes back, it's going to be like a Sean Payton situation where somebody's going to have to really trade some type of draft pick to get him to be their head coach.
Well, that depends on if he comes back before his
True,
contract
his contract.
expires.
I don't see him
Which-
taking more than 1 year off, though.
I do see him taking the year off. I do
Yeah,
see him
I agree.
not going into 19 years with one organization is a long time. I've had the pleasure of interviewing Mike Tomlin a couple of times, being in that locker room and that environment up there. So I didn't expect nothing less than what happened there. And I think Dustin, I had joked early on in the year that Aaron Rodgers would be the end of Mike Tomlin. I didn't think it was going to go down that way, but somehow they are tied together. Okay, so Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. He's going to sign a contract with the Green Bay Packers and retire as a Packer. I think that's going to happen. That was something me and Brian talked about off air. But no, I mean, you go out. Look, no, so he gets into the playoffs. He hasn't won a playoff game in a long time. But look, 19 winning seasons, that's something that hasn't been done in the NFL. So he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. Everyone knows that. So I think this is the way you go. All good things come to an end, right, guys? So,
Yeah.
Jacob, what are your thoughts on that now?
I think you wrapped it up rather well for it there. I don't really have anything specific. I like Tomlin. I don't know. I think it was needed. So
I think the only thing that surprises me just a little bit is I thought the way, and I know you talk about Aaron Rodgers, but I will say this again. I think him and Tomlin had a very, very good relationship.
Yeah.
And I kind of just sensed that they were maybe going to try to run that back one more year with Rodgers and Tomlin. And so with Tomlin, yeah, with the win,
yeah,
maybe the way it ended, it kind of crushed that.
Right.
But you're right. With Tomlin walking away now, like I could have seen Aaron playing one more year with Tomlin in Pittsburgh, but now with Tomlin gone, I don't really think there's anywhere for Aaron to go. So it's probably best for him just to go ahead,
I think so,
and move on.
And just to close it out, guys, look, if someone was to ask, why did it fall apart for Mike Tomlin, or what would be the asterisk on his resume, it would be not being able to replace Ben Roethlisberger. Okay, he went through 9 quarterbacks, maybe 10. Some I can't remember. There was Trubisky. There was you bring in the Wilsons. You bring in the Justin Fields. You bring in this Duck Hodges. I mean, the list goes on. Then the worst that happened is you drafted Kenny Pickett, with
Yeah.
a top pick. That didn't. I mean, so he couldn't replace Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, you look, and all these other quarterbacks that we done seen that come into the NFL since Kenny Pickett having immediate success, Drake May, Brock Purdy, these type of guys. So that's going to be the knock.
How much of that is on him, and how much of that is on the front office?
Well, he is the front office in a sense.
I agree. He's got a lot of say. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is, I know he's got a lot of say, but I'm just, the GM still got to get a little bit of that as well. Like, what's going to change moving forward with whoever you go with if you can't get the right guy.
The GM was new, so you got to. That GM for Pittsburgh was in a situation like other GMs who are hired after the head coach is there. So you really don't have a lot of say. So yeah, we're gonna draft Pickett because he's right here in Pittsburgh. I mean, Kenny Pickett's numbers were outstanding. You guys,
they were to start off,
yeah.
So to wrap this up, let me ask you this, Gene. As a Steelers fan, where you don't go through this, you've had 3 coaches in the last 175 years. I exaggerate. Like, as a fan, where do you go? Who do you look at? Because a lot of times they went in house, but now with Tom, like, where do you go with the coaching search here for Pittsburgh?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, I think Art Rooney is going to have a lot to do with this because they look for high character guys. Number one, they don't look for people who just going to come in there for the minute. And look, if you take that job, man, that's a hell of a job. That's a job that you can't be one and done. They're going to stick with you, but they're not just going to hire anybody. They were fortunate to have 3 coaches that all won Super Bowls. That's another thing the new coaches got to look at. You will be expected to win a Super Bowl at some point in time. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with this. It's going to be interesting to see, but I trust Art Rooney will make a good choice.
I feel like a Brian Flores is a good name. It's almost like Tomlin light, kind of come in defense, well respected. I kind of feel like that's a name that would be a good fit in Pittsburgh.
Well, I kind of feel like got a lawsuit still with the NFL.
He does, but he's interviewing for head coaching jobs, though.
True.
Yes. I'm happy for him, too. He was good as Minnesota's D coordinator.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Let's jump into some of the action here.
Let's
do it. We got the divisional rounds of the NFL that's happening now. I got Brian's I got some videos on Brian's in his picks, guys, which are hilarious, by the way. And I don't know which, I'll tell you what, because I want to make sure we stay in this order here. Okay. I don't know which one we put up first for Brian, but anyway, we're going to start with the Broncos and the Buffalo Bills. Okay. How about this? 2 teams that at one particular time in their they were the laughing stocks of the AFC. I think if you count how many Super Bowls Buffalo and Denver Broncos have lost, I think we might be looking at 8 or something, 7, 8 or so before they turn it around. Denver, finally got in there and won, back to back. But the Buffalo Bills, guys, 4 trips to the Super Bowl and lost them all. But this is a different Buffalo Bills team, different Denver Broncos team. So, Jacob, who's going to advance to the AFC Championship game out of these 2 teams?
I don't know. I quite frankly, I think the Bills win this game. I think. I don't necessarily think this is going to be a great game. Denver's defense, it statistically looks good, but it felt to me that they kind of fell off a little bit there towards the end. And I know there were some lopsided scores where Denver really just completely shut teams down and what have you. But there were certainly offensive cogs that were missing or not playing well at all, or this, that, the other that really helped that skew that in that direction. So I don't know. I'm worried about Josh Allen's offense. They really needed to go after a wide receiver. It was really cool getting to see Brandon Cooks out there balling out a little bit. He's bounced around a little bit. He was an ex-Texan, so it was cool seeing him do that for Buffalo. They did pick him up for free, but I don't know. I worry about the Bills' offense. I think James Cook's good enough, which he wasn't against Jacksonville, but I think James Cook is good enough. I think Josh Allen gets it done. I do not think Denver wins this game. But I wouldn't be surprised if this game's won like 16-13 by one of these teams by field goal in overtime. So,
Dustin.
Yeah, listen, I'm worried about the Bills. That honestly, I didn't know till we got on the show, Jacob, that me and Gene had the same Super Bowl picks. That scares me. Who was Jacob's Super Bowl pick, by the way?
I didn't get to make one. Or well, I did. I did the.
Will you tell us who.
You did the bracket. Who'd you have to start?
I took. You want me to just give you the Super Bowl?
Yeah, give me the Super Bowl. Who you got?
I have Seattle beat New England 27-17.
Okay. So yeah, so I have the Bills as my Super Bowl pick for people that didn't know, but I'm worried about the Bills in this game. Josh Allen's banged up. They lost more receivers, Shavers with an ACL. Gabe Davis goes down. Keon Coleman's been a healthy scratch. But I say all that, and I just feel like this is going to be one of those Josh Allen Superman games. Like, the guy's just going to find a way to carry his team. You mentioned James Cook running the football. And the thing that didn't get mentioned last week is Buffalo's defense played pretty well. Tre'Davious White had a flashback to being that top corner like he used to be for Buffalo. So you can put – I don't know if we're putting graphics on the screen for the playoff, Gene. Put the upset graphic on the screen for me.
Let's do it.
I am writing what Jacob said, and I am taking – the Buffalo Bills. This is me believing in Josh Allen. This is me not believing in the Broncos, which I haven't all year. I've told you this close football games are going to catch up to them. I think the layoff is going to hurt them. And I just think Josh Allen's going to be ready to play. And the one thing that the Broncos can't do is run the football. And if they could run the football, then maybe you could say, hey, keep Josh Allen off the field, but they can't do that. So I'm picking the Buffalo Bills to, again, go on the road and get their second road win. And get an upset over the number 1 seed.
Yeah, I concur. I guess we can do since we got a 6 seed versus a 1 seed there, and the 1 seed is the overall favorite here. So I'm going to go with that too. Look, and I also agree with you, Dustin, on the fact that same thing applies to the Broncos that apply to the Bears. You just can't keep having these come from behind victories. Now we're in the playoffs. And this is the most experienced team in the playoffs, other than the Rams right now.
Yeah,
is the Buffalo Bills. So I'm going to go with the Bills, and let's see if we can make it unanimous here. I can't remember what Brian said. Let's see if we have it here. I want to make sure I'm not playing the same one.
I think the 15 minutes. So do something if I go too.
Okay, not that one, guys. Let's go with this one.
Going with the Bills. I'm going to go with my heart. I think Allen's better quarterback, and I think Denver's lack of a good running game, they're going to pay for it finally. So I'm going to go with the Bills.
Wow.
All right.
So all 4 of us. Wow.
So how about that? I mean, we are all right there, guys.
And just to let people know, the Broncos are favored by 1.5 points in this game. So it is a small spread for the number 1 seed at home. So I think everybody's expecting a close game here.
All right, which brings us to our next game. And by the way, these are Saturday games. So Broncos, Bills, Saturday.
Yeah.
And 49ers, Seahawks is also Saturday in the nightcap. And this is the number 1 seed sitting at home. They're waiting. Sam Darnold's done it again. Look at that 14-3. He's won 14 games again with another team, Minnesota. Okay, so we got the San Francisco 49ers, man. These guys, Robert Saleh goes over there and makes a difference. Regardless, Robert Saleh doesn't care who's injured or hurt. If you play defense for the 49ers, you're going to go out there and make an impact. So, Dustin, this is a tough pick here, but who do you like?
Yeah, this is the tough pick, and we also mentioned that the 49ers lost George Kittle to an Achilles, and we wish him well and hope he gets better. So another injury that has happened to the San Francisco 49ers is just unbelievable how they've continued to rack up. The other thing we need to mention before we get into this game is Sam Darnold has popped up on the injury report yesterday with an oblique injury. Now, he says in the press conference that he's going to play, but a quarterback having an oblique injury that's got to kind of turn and twist to throw the ball, that's something to keep an eye on. So, I think this is going to be another close game. I think all these games are going to be close this weekend. The 49ers had a chance 2 weeks ago at home to wrap up the number 1 seed against Seattle, and Seattle kind of manhandled them 13-3. San Francisco couldn't get anything going, but something just in the back of my head is saying that ride Christian McCaffrey. Brock Purdy is playing better. I know Seattle's defense is great, and I know Sam Darnold. Again, I'm not trying to knock Sam Darnold. He is a franchise quarterback. He's won 14 games in back-to-back years, but I have not seen it from Sam Darnold in the playoffs yet. We're talking regular season and we're talking playoffs. I have not seen Sam Darnold produce in the playoffs, and that's what it's going to take to beat some of these teams. So, Gene, throw the upset graphic back there on the screen.
My goodness.
I am taking the other number 1 seed to go down. And I was impressed with how the 49ers handled that game against the Eagles. It was a close score, but the 49ers, yard-wise and possession-wise, kind of controlled that game. I know Jacob's disagreeing with me, but I'm taking the San Francisco 49ers to pull the upset.
Well, Jacob, since you're disagreeing, you want to go next?
It's not that I'm disagreeing. There's one like major thing that could happen, or that is on the shelf for the 49ers that the team could rally around, right? Fred Warner, not active this game, but if the Niners win, Fred Warner comes back, that defense gets their leader back.
He's been back there at practice too, and that's been a boost, they said.
Yeah, and that defense with Fred, it's a different animal, especially if he can come back and play at 85% of the caliber of player that he was prior to the injury. Fred would be a big boost. Yeah, I am going Seattle in this one. I think it being in Seattle, I think the 12th man's going to show up, and do I think it's going to be a bloodbath? No, it should be 36-14, but that's not going to happen. So
the spread's 7.
Yeah, I think that's nonsense. I think that it's going to be a really tight game. I don't know. What's the over-under on it? Do you have that?
Over-under is 44.5, and Seattle is favored by 7 points.
It's gross. 22 points a team.
You take the over?
I have a weird inclination to say that the over is probably going to be what appears on this one. I would not take Seattle -7, though. I would take the 49ers and the points there. So Seattle though for me. I don't think the 49ers win this game. It'd be cool if they did, right? Like this is one of those things where I can be wrong on my Super Bowl pick. I don't care, but I won the regular season. It is what it is. I already have 1 crown. I don't need a second. But
hey, look, because now playoffs is almost like double the points here.
Exactly. Regular season means nothing, Jacob.
Yeah, regular season, regular season.
Hey,
we talking
playoffs,
playoffs,
Sam Darnold, right? It's my Sam Darnold trophy.
Well,
yeah, that says it all.
Seattle.
That says it all.
I'm going with Seattle, guys. I have been on Sam Darnold's bandwagon all year. I was on his bandwagon last year, even though the Rams took him out. I'm not going to.
Yeah, and what he threw 4 interceptions in the playoffs last year.
Well, hey, yeah, but look, okay, that was last year.
Okay.
So he's at home. He's got the number 1 seed, and the 12th man is going to help him calm his nerves. He played football out there on the West Coast, so he's home. This is the one home game he has to win.
Okay.
So I'm going to go with Sam Darnold. So let's see. Now I don't know. This could be. Let's see what Brian says. This might not be for the game that we're talking about. So let's see.
Ooh,
that might change some things. Now he's saying he's going to play, but I wonder now if the 49ers. I just was on another show. I picked Seattle. I may have to pick. I'm still going to go with Seattle, and the reason why is actually, Gene, I am flip-flopping more than a pair of sandals right now. I don't know. I think I am going to go with the Niners. I was all on board with Seattle, even though George Kittle is hurt, and they might ask you to play tight end for them on Saturday night if they have any more injuries. I think Purdy's a really good quarterback. And I think Christian McCaffrey can get it done. So I'm going to flip-flop here on your show, and I'm going to take the 49ers at the 11th hour.
Is that hilarious?
I like it, Brian. Let's go.
He took me to the right. I mean to the left, and it brought me back. I'm like, wait a minute. Okay, Brian.
I like
right there in the middle of the show. He pulled a mean Gene, right, Dustin? And
he did. He pulled a flip flop
and did a flip flop. So All right, so we got 2 for the Seahawks, and we got 2 for the 49ers. So we're gonna see how this one turns out. All right, I know that Jacob has been waiting on this. What? I just like how these matchups happen, guys. We focus on one team for so many years, but we don't see another one coming. All right, you got 2 damn good coaches here, Mike
Yep.
Vrabel. Look what he's doing. Look what he did with the New England Patriots here. They get the number 2 seed, almost had the number 1 seed. But you look at this Houston Texans defense, see what they did on Monday night against. So they sort of playing on the short week, right? I don't know if they came home or not, Dustin. I mean Jacob, but they back out there on the East Coast again. Cold weather once again. The Texans, they have to go into Gillette Stadium there and try to knock off these Patriots. So tell us what you're thinking, Jacob.
Yeah, if the Texans offense plays like it did last week, New England's going to run away with this by 14 to 17 points. It will be a blowout by all measure of the boards. I hate it because like the Texans as a whole, right? Bulk average actually played a really good game in the cold against Pittsburgh last week. The problem is the defense had to play completely lights out to offset how bad the offense actually was. And that's not how you're going to beat this New England team. New England is a much better team than Pittsburgh. Sorry, Gene, no offense. But New England is a much better team this year. They are better coached. Well, grain of salt there, but they are a better coach team. Their offense performs better. Drake May's the runner-up for MVP. And on the flip side, New England's defense is playing well. So even if they don't cause if New England gets half of the takeaways that Pittsburgh was able to get against Houston, I still think Houston wins. Or not Houston, I still think New England wins with half of what Pittsburgh was able to accomplish against that offense. So there are 2 paths here, right? So I am going to take New England to win this game. But if the Texans happen
Wow,
to win,
I gotta change my pick here. Hold on, because I already had you wrote down for Houston.
no, I'm taking New England to win this game.
You're not going to change your pick just because he.
No, I'm not changing mine. I had already wrote down Houston for Jacob.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I have New England going to the Super Bowl and losing. It's in my bracket.
So-
No, I like this one. But if Houston wins, they get a home AFC champ game against the Bills. So there is a clear path to the
Bills
Super
win.
Bowl
Yes.
if the Texans beat the Pats, and if the Bills win.
Yes.
Okay, I want to go next because
Okay, go ahead.
Jacob, you remember me and you talked off air one time. We were getting ready to come on the air, and I told you I could see the Texans in the AFC Championship game.
Yep,
You remember that?
I sure do.
And look, I'm going to stick with that because New England is peaking. They're peaking. They look. Drake May is going to have to find his ass during this game. This defense is no joke, and I know Mike Vrabel is going to have these guys prepared. But look, it could be an ugly game. It could be Fairbairn could mess around and be the MVP of this game because he's probably going to kick, 3 or 4 field goals. The Texans, I got the Texans beating this not ready yet to get to an AFC Championship game. You got to remember the schedule that they played, the Patriots. Okay, they're not there. They're. You know how you put some good meat on the grill, you got to let it cook, and they're not ready yet. Give me the Texans.
We're talking about schedules when we got a team went 14-3 and sitting two games away from the Super Bowl. Like, what are we doing here, Gene? The schedules. I mean, we act like the Texans played some crazy hard schedule. Like, come on, like we're talking about schedules. I'm using Allen Iverson. We're talking about practice. We're talking about schedules. Like, throw the schedules out the window. We in the divisional round of the playoffs right now. What schedules are we talking about? Listen. I think this game's going to be a great game. The 40.5, the over-under, it's going to be a hard time to probably get to that 40.5 with these two teams. This is going to be a defensive slugfest, no doubt about it. And Jacob's right. It's going to be who takes care of the ball. I mean, the Patriots didn't look great against the Chargers, but that defense played well. So it's kind of the same thing with the Texans. So it's going to be interesting. I just didn't like what I saw from the Texans offense. I it's crazy to say because Drake May's the younger quarterback, but I still think right now I trust Drake May more than I trust CJ Stroud. And then Nico Collins, is he playing? Do we know about Nico?
Yeah,
He's out.
that's a big.
He's
that's a
out. That's a huge loss.
big loss.
I'm going to take the Patriots. I do think it's going to be a slugfest. I think you're right, Gene. I think it's going to probably maybe come down to a kicker. But I'm going to take that home environment in the cold, and I'm going to take Drake May to make just one or two more plays more than CJ Stroud to get a win.
All right, let's see what Brian picked here, guys. Let's see what we got here.
Here, Texans at the Patriots.
Let's go. I mean, man, if you like rock fights, this is your night. This is your
Don't forget Jacob Meadows is on this show.
Oh, I love Jacob, and I'm glad. Hey, man, hey, props on the win. Props on the win. I did a show with you guys earlier this year, and he was so down on the Texans given their bad start. So, man, props. I thought about him when I was at that game, and how he's probably sipping on some Dom Perignon or something while we're slugging it out in the press box, but eating cold chicken tenders and being sad. I will take the Patriots because if Nico Collins can't play, that's going to be tough. Again, I mean, hey, you never know. I mean, his name now escapes me. The receiver that stepped up for them, the former Jaguar, Christian Kirk.
Oh, Kirk,
he looked like Jerry Rice against the Steelers. He does that against New England, they could win. But no, I think New England's got it all going for them right now. Not that Houston can't make it tough on them. And if they win, man, you would think that Collins would be back for the championship game and they could make some hay there. But I do like New England.
All right, there you go. There you go,
Brian. He's got some this show.
He gave you a shout out there, Jacob.
He did.
Great stuff. All right. Okay, so and this is the next game here, guys. This is going to be a great game. The Los Angeles Rams, the number 5 seed, take care of business last week against the Panthers. Barely beat the Panthers in Charlotte. And you got the Chicago Bears, cardiac kids, whatever they call them up there in the Windy City. They win. Ben Johnson finds a way to win. Is Ben Johnson becoming another Dan Campbell with this going for it on 4th downs? We can talk about that here in this commentary. But anyway, they are at home in the Windy City, which look, Philadelphia, the Rams, they could care less about the Windy City and snow. We saw what they almost did against the Eagles last year, and they were close to getting to the Super Bowl. So here the Rams are on the road against the Bears. Dustin Pfeiffer, who wins?
Yeah. 2 things. One, it is going to be the Windy City. This is going to be one of the coldest playoff games in a long, long time. I believe the temperature is supposed to be around 20 around kickoff, but the wind chills are supposed to get to about 0 with the wind. Chance a little bit of snow. So it is going to be some crazy weather up there in Chicago. The other thing is the Rams are a 3.5-point favorite on the road against Chicago. So that's pretty crazy. I think, as much as I like the Rams, I think that's a pretty crazy line considering the Rams, played a close one on the road last week. So 2 things to keep in mind there. I think this might be one of the best games of the weekend. I think even though it's cold weather, I think you could see a little bit of a shootout here. The one thing I did notice with the Rams watching them against the Panthers last week was the Rams secondary is a weak spot. Their defensive line is very good, but their secondary is a weak spot. And if they can't guard Adunze or DJ Moore or Loveland, that could be a problem. But on the flip side, I'm going to stick with my Super Bowl pick, and I'm going to ride with who I think probably I don't know. There's Josh Allen and some other quarterbacks, but Stafford is up there. He's obviously the MVP this season. I mean, I'm going to ride with him. I think he's going to make plays. I think it's going to be close. And again, I don't think the Bears want to get behind in this game. If they get behind in this game, I don't really see them coming back. So it's going to be crucial for them to get off to a hot start. But I am going to take the Rams to go on the road. We saw it last year. They almost went into Philly in that snow game and won in that NFC Championship. I don't think that weather's going to bother them at all. Give me the Rams to get a win.
Jacob Meadows.
I just think when the script got done, they wanted to see the Rams and the Seahawks play again. I'm also going to take the Rams here. My gut is screaming that Chicago is probably going to pull this off for no reason at all. But my brain, right? Like I'm all in with Dustin here. I think the Rams are the better team. The Chicago defense in general has been a quasi liability over the last couple of weeks. It is they're winning games. However, that defense is porous. And I just think with as well as the Rams have moved the ball on offense, although I mean losing Blake Corum, not great, right? But you still have Kyron Williams, and Kyron Williams is the starter. I said that as if they lost their starting running back. The backup has taken over. That is not the case. But Tay's healthy, Puka's healthy, Tutu Atwell's healthy, Colby Parkinson's playing well. The Rams are too good. Give me the Rams to win this game.
Yeah, I like the Rams too. I think Sean McVay is probably the next John Harbaugh, Mike Tomlin as when it comes to longevity with this Ram organization. I mean, he's a young guy. If he gets to another NFC Championship game, I have him going to the Super Bowl. Man, Sean McVay, good. That's a solid foundation there. Now, what he's going to have to do is pretty much like Cowher and Tomlin rode the shirt tails of Ben Roethlisberger. He's riding that for Matthew Stafford. So I don't know how much longer Stafford's going to have, regardless of what they accomplish this year. But I got the Rams winning this game. So let's see what Brian Diardo thinks on this matchup here, divisional round between the Rams and the Bears.
Hosting the Rams at Soldier Field. Who do you like?
This reminds me of that, going to go way back, 88 NFC Championship game. Niners go to the Bears. The Bears think it's going to be 1985 all over again, and the warm-weathered 49ers came in and stole a win, and I think it's going to happen again. The Bears are an awesome story, but if there's one lesson the Rams should learn, and they didn't against Seattle in Week 17, finish the game.
Yes.
Finish the game. They didn't finish that game. That cost them the number 1 seed, which is why they're on the road. I think they learned their lesson, and I flip-flopped with the Seattle pick, but my overall Super Bowl pick before the playoffs started was Bills, Rams. I'm sticking with it. I think both teams are going to win in advance.
Wow. There we go. Another person who agrees. And this is Brian Diardo from CBSSports.com, senior writer there.
That's 3 out of 4 people that have the Bills and the Rams in the Super Bowl.
I mean, you just got to know. I mean, we all see something, and Jacob, maybe by next week when we get to championship week, you might come on over, depending on how things turn out this weekend. Yeah. But there was a reason why I mean, I could just say the Bills, and me and Dustin have gone with the Bills. Look, I'm going to explain the Bills, and this is before things just turned out the way they turned out. Look, you don't have a Lamar Jackson, you don't have a Joe Burrow, you have a Patrick Mahomes to go through. It's not going to get any easier for the Bills. Same reason the Patriots, inexperienced there. Bo Nix not ready yet. The Bills got to now. If the Bills lose, Dustin, I don't know what the hell I'm do.
Yeah.
It's gonna be shock for me if that happens. But that was my reason, Jacob. And Matthew Stafford. Good Lord, I mean, won a Super Bowl, same coach, same quarterback combination there. We've seen what they did, with the. I mean, Sam Darnold. I wouldn't be surprised if the Seahawks go to the Super Bowl, but I don't know. Never want to play a team 3 times in your division, right?
Yeah.
That's
It's going to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be tough. So, all right, guys. It looks like this is the NFL divisional rounds here. We're going to see how this pans out here. But look,
Good luck this weekend, Jacob. Good luck.
Yeah. Good,
Thanks, bro. That's gonna.
Hey guys, look, we've had 55,000 views in the last 28 days, and that's only because you are liking this show, you're commenting on this show, and you're sharing it, and you're subscribing to this show. We're over guys? Is it 2,000 subscribers? We started with 105, and I mean, it's just crazy with the growth of this show. People are liking it and everything. So we want to keep that up here. We also do an NBA show, which is also part of the Sports Kings and me and Dustin. So I would say about maybe 17,000 of those views we got of the 55,000 came from the NBA shows. So we're crossing over. We're going to be doing that a little bit more once the Super Bowl is over. We down.
You know what we don't do, Gene, is we don't do an MLB show. And I don't know if you just saw the news that just came through, and I'll go ahead and make your night for you, even though this is an NFL show.
Mm-hmm.
Your Los Angeles Dodgers have once again signed another player.
And who would that be?
That would be Kyle Tucker to a 4-year, $240 million contract.
Yes. Well, look.
I mean, I can't.
Look. Come on, guys. Hey, look, and we'll talk about this on another show. But hey,
can we get a salary cap? I mean,
well, okay, get one, get one, and I mean, but look, you can sign Moses, or that doesn't mean that you guaranteed to win. We saw how close the Dodgers came to tanking to losing that series against Toronto. So I mean, you still got to swing the bat, you still got to throw the ball. Bringing all those guys on. I saw the Los Angeles Lakers with Gary Payton, Shaquille O'Neal, and Karl Malone.
Those guys were 80.
Well, I'm just saying, lose a championship, so that doesn't matter. But
anyways.
But hey, guys, look,
great show.
Great show. We're gonna come back. Jacob, are you fully awake now?
I am now that the show's over. Now I've got a ton of energy. I'm ready to run around.
Anything you want to say with that energy before we get off the damn air? Because I want to give you that chance.
The Texans still have a clear path to the Super Bowl. And even though I chose against them this week, I hope I'm wrong. Texans.
Jacob, you have picked your team to lose.
I sure have.
You cannot put them in the Super Bowl now.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, you can't do it. Either
I
ride with them or don't.
I'm taking the Patriots, but in an alternate reality, the Texans do have a path to the Super Bowl, and I'm staying slightly optimistic on the inside about it.
All right, guys. Hey, I got to get ready and argue with Dustin over this Hornets and Lakers game, so we're gonna get out of here. All right, and we'll come back next week for the championship games. Hopefully, we have Brian DiArdo and our friend AJ. We need to get him back on as well. So we owe AJ one here. All right, guys, have a great weekend. Enjoy the games. We'll see you back here next week on the Sports Kings Championship, NFL Championship show right here on YouTube.